Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new video. My name is Siiroth, and power-ups are a huge part of the Mario games. They are as much of a staple element to the series as the worlds, flagpoles, and enemies. Power-ups allow Mario to gain a variety of different abilities which can lead to different scenarios for the player to face in a level. And power-up variety in the Mario games is important because it keeps the player entertained by doing different things in the game. Luckily, Super Mario Maker, the Mario level creator game, has several options for us to use in our levels. There are the staple mushrooms, fire flowers, and stars, as well as the other power-ups such as the Super Leaf, Propeller Suit, and Cape, and the new Mystery Mushroom and Skinny Mushrooms. There are a lot of power-ups in the game, but some of the fanbase's favorites still aren't included, and with Mario Maker coming to 3DS this year, it seems like the perfect time to list the top 5 power-ups I would want to see added to the game. And yes, I do find it unlikely that anything new will be added at all, but it's always fun to speculate. One last quick note before we begin, and it's that the mini mushrooms and big mushrooms are not allowed to be included because of the fact that some mechanics will have to change in order to include them. With that being said, let's get started with the list. Coming in at number 5 is the Frog Suit. This power-up made its debut in Super Mario Bros. 3, and while not a forgotten power-up, it does appear as an Easter egg in Super Mario Maker. It is definitely not commonly seen in the Mario games. In fact, the only main series 2D Mario game this power-up is usable in is in fact Super Mario Bros. 3. That's it. Needless to say, this power-up needs more attention, and a great way to do that is putting it in Super Mario Maker. And for those who are unaware at this point of what this power-up actually does, it is very useful in water, as it allows you to move more freely, which can be helpful in certain situations. I believe that adding this power-up in Mario Maker will result in more water levels popping up in the search, as they are pretty scarce when compared to most others you see. I feel the theme isn't being used enough, so adding the Frog Suit will not only make a lot of people happy, but I feel it will add a lot of good long-term effects as well. At number 4 we have the Super Acorn. This power-up was introduced in New Super Mario Bros. U and hasn't had a main game appearance since. Like many others, I was surprised to not see this item in Super Mario Maker. The propeller power-up was introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but the flying item for the New Super Mario Bros. U theme in Super Mario Maker is the Propeller Suit. It didn't make sense to me when the game was first released, and it still doesn't make sense to me now. Don't get me wrong, I much prefer the Propeller Suit to the Super Acorn, but it just doesn't feel right to me that this power-up was basically tossed aside. The Super Acorn is an interesting idea for a power-up in my opinion, allowing you to flutter in the air after your jump, and the ability that secured it in the spot on the list was clinging to walls. This ability I could definitely see leading to several unique courses being created around it in Mario Maker. With all the reasons I listed, it really makes me want to see this power-up as an option to use in the game. Don't get rid of the propeller power-up, just give creators the option to use the actual power-up from New Super Mario Bros. U in the New Super Mario Bros. U theme in Super Mario Maker. That's all I ask. Coming in at number 3 is the Tanooki Suit. Now we already have the Super Leaf as a power-up in Super Mario Maker, and overall this power-up isn't a must-have addition to the game because of how similar it is to the Super Leaf and the fact that you get the exact same flying ability from the Tanooki Suit as you do the Leaf. However, there are other abilities accessed exclusively with the Tanooki Suit that the Super Leaf doesn't have, such as turning into a statue. This ability can be used both offensively and defensively, and I could see it leading to several levels being created solely around it. This power-up first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3 and hasn't appeared in a 2D Mario game since, however it is in some 3D Mario games. This power-up in Mario 3 was considered to be an upgrade to the Super Leaf. The Leafs were much more common than the Tanooki Suits, so having both wasn't a bad idea. I can feel it would be the same way in Super Mario Maker, letting the level creator decide if Mario should get the extra abilities exclusive to the Tanooki Suit or keep him with just the regular abilities with the Super Leaf. Adding this choice could lead to people thinking more deeply about their levels, and adding different mechanics to go with the Tanooki Suit specifically, and that would be a good thing. Coming in at number 2 is the Blue Shell. No, not the blue shell from Mario Kart. I'm talking about the blue shell power-up from New Super Mario Bros. DS. This power-up is definitely an obscure one. From rarely being accessible in the game to not having many cameos in the spin-off titles, this power-up got overshadowed quickly, but I'll elaborate more on that later. First of all, what did this power-up actually do? To be honest, it did a lot. This power-up allowed Mario to turn into a shell, from ducking into it to allow you to be immune to most attacks, to flying towards enemies at high speeds, using it as an offensive power-up. Shell Mario was unique and a ton of fun to use. This power-up also allowed you to swim faster on top of all the shell shenanigans. I'm sure this power-up had its fans, and I was definitely one of them. But it lost what made it special fairly soon after New Super Mario Bros. DS was actually released. This happened in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, with the reveal of a brand new power-up. And while I loved the Shell Mario power-up and wanted to be in Super Mario Maker, the power-up that drove it into obscurity tops it on the list. Finally, at number 1 is the Penguin Suit. This power-up just has it all. First of all, I'm going to explain why it overshadowed Shell Mario. While it does have the ultra fun aspect of flying around aimlessly as a shell, being able to break blocks by simply ramming into them, Penguin Mario can break blocks as well while sliding on ice. And that swimming perk given in the Shell Mario form, Penguin Mario gets better swimming abilities too, which also takes away from the Frog Suit. Penguin Mario is also the reason that the Ice Flower isn't on the list, as Mario gets ice balls as a projectile, completely taking away from the purpose of adding in the Ice Flower. This is very similar to what I talked about earlier with the Tanooki Suit basically being the Super Leaf with more abilities. Yeah, Penguin Mario is the Tanooki Suit to the Ice Flower. The Penguin Suit will not only encourage players creating more water levels in Mario Maker, but it will also encourage them to add ice to more levels, as to give Penguin Mario the ability to slide through a level. However, there is an issue with this, being that Mario Maker doesn't have the ability to add ground in a variety of ways. It's always straight and you can't add slopes, so it would be difficult to make the amazing levels around it like there are in the actual Mario games. If slopes were added, it would be that much better. But as it is now, the Penguin Suit would add so many new level ideas in Super Mario Maker, which is why it's number 1. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe to see more. Be sure to check out my other videos by clicking the links on screen, or if you're on a mobile device, in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching.